Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live watch party. We are here. The time is now. Yes, it's now on a Tuesday. Yes, I've been missing the Monday nights, but just getting caught up in things, always running late. Sorry about that. Um, Hopefully we'll be back on a somewhat regular schedule soon. Um, Someday life will get back to normal, right? uh, so hopefully. I'm just a little caught up. Wedding planning, it's a thing. Thank you, everyone, for coming on in. So, we'll get to it in a minute. But there is a new movie from Josh, and Hayden coming out. We want to definitely talk about that. I think it's got potential, so we'll speculate on that in a couple of minutes here. I put Louis and Anoush on the thumbnail. So Cobra Kai companion, Peter. He just put out an interview today with the two of them. So it's going to be something new for them. I haven't listened to that one yet. But they're funny guys. And Peter kind of teased that, they're both comedians. And as you know, they have their own podcast. They're doing a rewatch podcast, which started like before the show ended. Rewatch podcasts are all the thing these days, but instead of waiting 20 years, 25 years, they're starting at, 2 months ago. So good for them. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm sure it's funny with, funny takes, insights, and everything. DJ Club Rules, thank you for coming on in. Early in the watch party live stream. Yes, you are. That's good. We took people off guard by coming on Tuesday. I love to see a movie with Samantha Miguel in Okinawa. Do you think they could do that or no? Could they do that? Sure. Like there's different ideas about Okinawa. Let me see. Like there's like a lot of like history here. Okay. I mean, this isn't like a whole lot, but like look at what I put here. I searched Okinawa castle ruins, okay? Like and I put ruins because the idea of it being like something old or secretive, it um there's like potential for story. Just like if you just like look at Okinawa. Like that's why I love the idea of like a karate mystery. I don't know why. Like I don't like I like the idea of something a little bit different. Um maybe that's just weird. But you look at this in like Sam trying to learn about Miyagi-Do, Miguel with her, etc. Like, and there's like a karate mystery and stuff. And okay, that admittedly it moves it a little bit away from the core Karate Kid idea of a bullied kid or something. Maybe you can figure out a way to work that in. But whenever I just like look at like Okinawa, like in people talk about like Sam and Miguel showing up, like that's what I think. Like, and here's the center of the castle. So some things in Okinawa, but there's a lot of like history there. Like in season 3, we saw the modern, but like so could it be yes? Ultimately, Scott is your answer for sure. I don't know if that's coming right away. I doubt it, but you never know what's down the road. Do we have a Cobra Kai Star Wars multiverse thing going on? Um, sure, it's a multiverse. Go ahead. Home Alone, and I'm pretty much taking my money had in Home Alone. Can you picture this in Okinawa with Samantha and Miguel learn karate and everything, but Sam and Miguel develop a rivalry with a girl and a guy who do karate? Yeah, that could be something. I mean, that could fit in with everything I said. Like, I mean, maybe the mystery I'm talking is sort of like a background story or an overarching story where more immediate things are like a rival couple fighting for Okinawa history or something. Didn't know they were working on a movie. Yes, I will get to it in a minute. Apparently it goes back. Trisha and I are busy. We got Doc's brother and mother over. It's a lot of fun, but harder work. Yes. Cobra Kai rapper from the 2000s. Always coming around right in. He says, hey, what's up? What it do, watch party? We're talking about Sam going to Okinawa. She's on alone, not with her mama. But Miguel is there too, hitting it up like a blue. Those two lovebirds are gonna make it like glue. Cobra Kai rapper from the 2000s. Oh, thank you for coming on in. How would I ever work on my rap beats if I didn't have Cobra Kai rapper from the 2000s? Thank you, my friend. What do you think of the idea of them doing a Cobra Kai movie with all the characters returning? Do you think it's possible they could do it or just leave Cobra Kai the way it is? Like I don't see a Cobra Kai movie because the show ended exactly where it needed to end. That is to say, Johnny's story is done. Daniel's story is done. Maybe they're characters in someone else's story. But like I think if there's like a movie, it's about someone else. Do you know what I mean? So I think like a movie looks somewhere else other than this, just the same core characters. Okinawa looks breathtaking in real life. I would go. I mean, I can't argue with you. Look at that. It's worth noting when I was talking to fiance party. I mean, I did mention it as a possibility for our honeymoon. We're not going there, but like it's not like something out of the blue. Like, how would you want to go there? Or like, um, very nice, especially if you go when the cherry blossoms are blooming. What are the chances that they could be a pregnancy storyline with Samantha Miguel suspect this could happen? Um, the show is over, so I'll say 0. You guys have been talking about Sam being pregnant for 5 years. For 5 years, I've dealt with this. So there we go. Watch Pretty. Of course, you're doing well with raps. I love it. Yes. See, you know the thing is, Cobra Kai rapper from the 2000s. I bet you go into other people's streams and they don't bust the beats. And if a streamer, if he's not going to start busting the beats, what's even the point? Like, where's the respect? Where's the challenge? Where's the thrill? It's just sad. Oof, that looks nice. I mean, a lot of this is like in the same area. It's like the same building from different angles, but certainly some nice scenery. The Karate Kid on a Japanese language school. Language school, I guess. You know how they did Sorry with Johnny? I would love to see a story with Samantha or Tori. I guess you mean a story. Um, I mean, there's always the possibility of spinoffs, one shots, exactly. So, I've talked about that. I think there's a lot of room for stuff like that. Actually, let me find. Like, if you want to see like Okinawa, like these are like when the cherry blossoms come in. One of us is lying. Yeah, Karate Caulfield on Instagram. She was a huge fan of that show. I watched a couple episodes. Did I watch? Maybe I only watched the episodes that were free. It was decent. It was decent. Brett is in it too, who's young Kreese. I'm not sure, but new idea for a spinoff movie. How Zara got her tooth back. Yeah. How Zara got her tooth back. That's a nice shot. Beautiful. I mean, look at that. Yeah, I think they bloom early in Okinawa, like January. Exactly. Still on this, I'd love to see a remake of the Karate Kid movie, but a female version. Maybe you call it the next Karate Kid. No, wait, let me continue reading. But a female version with a girl coming to a new school, but she gets bullied by a group of girls who know karate. You want to do it all on. Well, so I get what you're saying, because you're basically what you're doing is you're like taking the basic premise of the movie, or the basic plot outline of the original Karate Kid, and you're swapping the sex. You're making Daniel and Johnny, having them all girls. Because one thing, next Karate Kid, even though we had this is a beautiful. I've seen other shots of like this path. But anyway, even though we had in Next Karate Kid, like Julie Pierce, she was like being picked on by boys. Um, an interesting choice. Like, did they consider like, what if we make the bullies girls? I don't even know. It's weird. I mean, this is weird, but like it is like an interesting choice. And I have no idea why they picked what they did. Maybe they didn't want to show girls as bullies or something. But I think one of the things is when we talk about things that like reverberate with people and sync with people, girls more often bully in non-physical ways. And this is what we saw in season 1. Yasmin is the queen bee mean girl of West Valley High, but she's not beating anyone up. They never beat anyone up, but she was absolutely putting people down. You know what I mean? And was kind of like the lead bully. So it was like a different way. So, and then Tori comes around, and Tori is a fighter, as Sam's getting back into karate and they fight. But like Tori and Sam were fighting like, over things they cared about, so to speak. Boys, whatever. They got off to a bad foot, but they got off to a bad start, and didn't like each other and were kind of knocking each other around and getting a little violent, and then the whole Sam kisses Miguel, and then it just all hell breaks loose. It's not like, but it's not like Yasmin bullying just because she thought someone was ugly, fuglicia, she wanted to exclude certain people from her window and was establishing, this is really nice, who was allowed in and who wasn't. Do you know Mary did a show called Body Approved? Wasn't it? Was it Body of Evidence? Body of Proof. Yeah, Body of Proof. Yeah, I'm aware of Body of Proof. I've even back during the pandemic, I watched a couple of episodes. It's so fun story. Like I found some episodes on YouTube. It's just randomly, and like it's just like random. Like someone had uploaded them and they were there. Seasons, right? And I picked one at random, and I swear to God, I picked the episode that was about a pandemic. It was kind of funny. Mary was only in literally one scene. It was a two-parter with Luke Perry actually and some other guest stars. Kind of an interesting episode, but yes, I'm aware of Body of Proof. It was a forensic medical show. Young Kreese and Yasmin, a couple, yeah. Her father's alive. Female teacher. I mean, maybe, but you need more than just literally swapping the boys for girls, like swapping the sex of everyone. Like, that alone doesn't make it enough, right? It's got to be something unique. T-Flex Champ, what's going on? This is Okinawa. So I just had up Okinawa, and we were talking about possible spinoffs. People like talking about Sam and Miguel going to Okinawa, and I like to show the potential. Dear God, look at that. Does that look nice? I think that looks pretty. Now, T-Flex, I know you're a strong, hardened man, so you don't do pretty. You don't do cute. You only do strong and tough. So this is not for T-Flex Champ. You find T-Flex Champ when you want to get strong and tough. You need a little pain. You need pain to gain. It's been in my mind for a very long time about Dimitri. Do you think he has sex with Yasmin or no? Like, I don't know where, but it's heavily implied they did. I guess it's eating you up inside. So I want to relieve your mental tension and say, yes, they rocked the caboose. They rocked the house. He showed her his karate moves. My fiance Church is a lot like Samantha. A lot of ways, and Samantha is her favorite female character in Cobra Kai. So Samantha and Trish are a lot alike. Good. I'm sure she's a good karate fighter too. T-Flex Champ is laughing. What do you mean they need to change everything to changing from boy to girl, a female version of Karate Kid? Do you think it's even possible that could do this for a film? Is it possible? Sure. But I don't think like that pitch alone is going to make it a good movie. Um, you know, like 2010 Karate Kid was almost essentially the same movie as the original. Um, I actually think it was a little bit better than people give it credit for, but it wasn't like groundbreaking or anything. And that's like so like I think what you're saying is now doing the same thing, just make it a girl and everything in itself. It may be decent, but it's not going to be groundbreaking in any way. And I think at the moment the movies are going elsewhere, so I don't think they're going to make that. Yeah, I understood what you meant. And Samantha, in a lot of ways, is a lot like Samantha in a lot of ways. Yeah, Roger and Jessica Rabbit. Beautiful. I am very surprised Dimitri didn't get Yasmin pregnant. Well, the show didn't go long enough to give us the answer, dude. the show the show basically ended like that day, yeah? So we don't know. Dimitri and Yasmin, they implied that they did not just they did not just in the finale, but also in the prom episode where they went upstairs. Yes. Yes, in the prom episode where they went upstairs. Although Luan, the writer, always said he likes to think Dimitri locked himself in his bathroom, which is funny. Actually, look at this one. Isn't that nice? This is nice too. So Dimitri locked himself in the bathroom. Just waiting for your no name. I would have thought you had that first, but maybe it's taking a while to update everything. Yeah, T Flex Champ will have a new site up soon, everyone. Uh maybe we'll share it next week. It'll be ready. But T Flex Champ gives you your training guidance. You know what I mean? Uh, Helps you meet your goals. So anyway, look at this one too. Like there's a lot of really good things. Queen Cobra videos. I'll try to look them up. I'm just been more busy, so it's hard for me to do stuff like that. Um, watch other videos, but maybe things will calm down soon. I'm kind of hoping it will. So, um, I still do believe when Hawk had Dimitri and the arm lock, depressing him to do it, but I still think Hawk broke Dimitri's arm to protect him from Cobra Kai. You believe it? Yeah, you could say. Because as long as Hawk had Dimitri, he knew he was in control. If he let other people take over, he doesn't know what they're going to do. Right? So, um, there's a truth to that. Um, is it just on YouTube? I'll look. You'll never eat whale meat. That is okay. You don't have to eat whale meat. I didn't even know they sold it. Why do you think Hawk broke Dimitri's arm to protect him from Cobra Kai? Can you just give me all your reasons why he broke his arm to protect him? Are you asking me? Because you're the one that said it. I just acknowledged you could look at it that way. I'm not sure I look at it that way. Like I don't look at it like that way. Like I will protect Dimitri and do this. But I can if you want to like look at it that way. Queen Cobra is a YouTube channel. It's not Tony, is it? Like is there another Queen Cobra? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up real quick because I don't know. Cobra. Who? No. Okay, it's not that. Who? Queen Cobra channel? Must be this one. Wait. This just looks like edits. Okay, this is a channel of just edits. In the tribute videos, they come off better with the 80s music. Fair enough. There was Queen Cobra podcast, but she hasn't done anything in years. Queen Cobra. I don't know what that is. That's nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what channel. I only see 2 Cobra Kai specific Queen Cobras. One of them is Tony. I know she hasn't updated in years. And the other one looks like a channel of just edits, which maybe they're nice, but I don't know what I'm looking for. Sorry. I didn't. I'm asking you. I'm not saying it. I was just repeating what you were saying. Like if you want to say Hawk broke Dimitri's arm to protect him, like I could provide reasoning and justification for the assertion, but that doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it. I don't think Hawk was trying to protect Dimitri. I can provide some justification, but it's not something I think or agree with. The old Hawk was badass. Yeah, he had a peak. He then Hawk trusts Dimitri with his life. Well, on some occasions, anyway. Not always, but on some occasions. On some occasions. Okay. Sorry. Oh, music tributes is what you're saying. Queen Cobra does. She's a big fan of it. Okay, so I did see that channel. I saw it. I didn't watch any of the videos. No, good for her. Saw Hayden and John are working on Kevin Hart new Netflix movie. Yeah, we'll get to it in a second. Like Gianni is an actor, but really felt like Dimitri shouldn't have not been at the tournament due to drag down Hawk storyline. Yeah, Dimitri felt like the weakest link. And in fact, for as poor as Dimitri did, they act like Devin was the weakest link and shouldn't have been there, but I'm not even sure I agree with that. So you're talking about the cartoon. Daniel goes on the whaling ship. There was a scene in Cobra Kai with Daniel and Samantha were talk on the beach, and Daniel says to her, "That's the same whale I saw years ago in Norway." What are you talking about, Scott? I don't remember Daniel talking to Samantha about that in Cobra Kai. Why do you think Daniel doesn't want to compete in the competition for Sensei, but Johnny took his place and Satori took Sam's what? Took Sam's Tori's place. Well, I think ultimately Johnny was the sensei of Cobra Kai. So Johnny became the official sensei of Cobra Kai. John Kreese added him to the list and removed himself. And so when it came down to a fight between the tie-breaking fight between the senseis, um, Johnny was the sensei up. So Daniel didn't have an option even. So it's not like Daniel gave it up or didn't want to. He technically didn't even have an option. What's the hope? There's hope is for a new movie coming out. Not Cobra Kai related though. Cobra Kai animated series. You guys like that? That was the best moments. Yeah. We see Sam and Daniel at the beach talking. And they see. No, just mention. I don't know what you're saying. I mean, why do you think Samantha didn't want to compete anymore in the competition and Tori took Sam's place? Um, Sam looked at the numbers and realized it was over. Miyagi-Do was down like 60 points or something insane. Cobra Kai was only down like 40 points or something. The basic premise being, um, you got to do what you got to do, right? So in the end, they went for the greater good. Let Tori and Cobra Kai have a chance to beat Iron Dragons. Kreese survived the explosion? Sure. They should have done more with Silver. His most um okay, yeah, his most humane moments were with Kenny. There may be some truth to that, and that's a fine point, but like that happened in part 2 and he made an overture and Kenny kind of rejected him, right? I don't know what you're saying. There's a scene in Cobra Kai if they added, like they could have added a scene, like maybe the scene doesn't exist. There's no scene in Cobra Kai. They could add a scene, sure. Um, like sure they could have added a scene like that, to sort of reference the cartoon, but it wasn't high importance. I noticed Miyagi-Do hasn't won much since Cobra Kai started. True point. True point. It's almost like Cobra Kai is the best around. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, um, do you think it would have been cool if the show ended with Johnny and Daniel having the Rocky 3 fight? I definitely think it was possible. And it was something I thought for a while. Now they did have that reef match um in season 4, and I think that was ultimately the point. That was that moment. So we didn't really need that. And I guess emotionally we weren't there anymore. Like we didn't need another fight because they had come together. And so it ended differently. It ended them with them always working together. So that worked better. If they had it from the cartoon, especially if they have a Cobra Kai cartoon and the cartoons exist in their own universe, that could be. I mean, Daniel was also like riding a rocket. Like there was like a rocket and he was like riding it like a surfboard in the cartoon at one point. So why not? Miguel cut the cheese. There you go. If you were put to silver in part 1 of season 6, what would his role be? If you were to put it, silver in, I think it would be silver. Um, it would be essentially what we saw in part 2. Silver working to get a new dojo to get himself back up. Silver plotting his revenge. So let's talk a little bit here. Um, this is like so this came out yesterday. We'll talk about it here. Kevin Hart to star in new Netflix comedy 72 Hours from Cobra Kai creators. Um so Kevin Hart, comedian of um of different tastes. I mean, not everyone loves him. I would say he's probably a little underrated or overlooked. Like I feel like, cuz he's not necessarily my style of comedy, but I don't think he's necessarily bad. So like that was like my initial take. I was trying to think, what do I think of Kevin Hart? Um and I think he's like potential. Like he's definitely not someone I'm like, "Oh no." Like, and I was like thinking about it and I was like, well, you know what? I think there's some potential here. Like I think he's got maybe even a little underrated. Um do we have a release? No, no, no. So what they just announced the movie here and basically it's going into production. But we don't have to read the whole thing. Of course, this is by the way from what's on Netflix, Casey Moore. Um Director Tim Story, they work together. I guess he's a very successful director. Um Based on a true story. I want to know whose true story follows Joe, a married father of 3 who accidentally finds himself in an email chain for a bachelor party being planned by a group of 20 somethings from across the country. Amused and nostalgic for his own wild days, Joe keeps reading the emails, reminiscing about a time when life was more carefree. He comes clean about the mistake, revealing who he is. He wasn't actually meant to be on the chain. The group's best man, Nick, responds by inviting him to join the trip for real. What Joe doesn't know is that Nick has ulterior motives. He hopes Joe's presence in his settled domestic life will convince his friend Mason to call off the wedding, which seems weird. Like, I will say this part of it right here. Like, hey, a settled domestic life, like i.e. married life, that'll make him want to call off the wedding. Like, what do you expect when you get married? What are you hoping for? Like, this is actually, this part of it strikes me as a little odd. Just because, like, he's going to convince him to call off the wedding by showing him a settled domestic life. Like, I don't know. Why is he getting married in the first place? The plan backfires. Joe's unexpected arrival profoundly impacts everyone, including Nick himself and the rest of the crew. Ava. 72 chaotic hours of debauchery in Miami. So that's the story. So Hayden and Jon wrote the script. These three guys did some rewriting. So according to Hayden and Jon, for what they've posted, this is an old script from almost before Cobra Kai. They wrote it like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, somewhere around there. That's been like sitting, and so they wrote it initially, are producing it, and these three guys, according to Jon, what he said is like they kind of did a pass. They updated the script to 2025 because you know how like technology and shit changes so much fast. You know, Twitter, TikTok. You know, now you have TikTok, and maybe TikTok will be banned even in like shit. You know, so you got all that. So it's them before like Cobra Kai, I guess. Include New Jersey and Miami. They're shooting in Miami. Production from June to August. Kevin Hart apparently there's a lot of movies on Netflix. I didn't even know this. It works with Sony because they have a partnership. Jon and Josh and Hayden have like an exclusive deal with Sony. So that's it. It has potential. You know, it's trying to be something different than like The Hangover. Because this is like we got the best man trying to sabotage the whole thing for some reason. We don't really know why. But you know, the sort of older, married, settled man, that's Kevin Hart's character, is kind of coming in. He's trying to like relive his youth. They're trying to like maybe reject the more settled life of a married life or something, and they'll probably do crazy shit and you know, learn some life lessons along the way. I do, and now I'm like, is a bachelor party supposed to be 72 hours? Because like what we're planning for mine isn't going to be 72. It may be like 3 hours in one evening. I don't even have anything planned. So now I'm like, now I'm feeling the pressure. This is putting pressure on me. Am I supposed to have 72 hours? I'm not really into debauchery. Like obliterated. Is it like obliterated stuff? Like that's not me. Okay, I could ride a camel. Like I'll ride a camel, but I don't know. I don't know. Do you think Obliterated would have worked better as a movie? You know, it's interesting because like I think like Obliterated's a good show. It might have worked better as a 10 episode show. It's as you recall, it was originally designed as a 10 episode show. And Netflix cut it down to 8. But like it makes the middle kind of weird. Cuz it's like they're captured, they get out, but then they're captured again, but this time by different people or something. You know, it's like you're captured, you're out, you're captured. Like the middle's a little weird. And it kind of jumbles together. Even as I'm like trying to remember it. It's like, wait, what was going on? You know, like so I feel like the 8 episode, whatever it was, either fewer episodes or maybe even more, which sounds weird, but like the 8 episode was kind of like a little bit off. T Flex Champ thinks it's interesting. It could be. Shell Lord is here. Thank you. Um is Scott Walker's very interested in sperm whales. Sperm whales and how they relate to Daniel LaRusso and Samantha LaRusso, who would be looking at one on a beach in an imaginary scene he once added into Cobra Kai or perhaps in the Cobra Kai cartoon. Um, we've spent 30 minutes talking about it. Okay. So anyway, I do think there's some good stuff here. Anyway, as far as the movie, um, yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see. Like it's different than um Hangover. It's different than Obliterated. We'll see. The wedding is at stake, I guess. Is what's the deal with that? The okra. The okra is the only wedding. That's nice. Oh wait, I turned that off. I know more about sharks than whales. Should we talk about sharks, guys? Um, what do we got going here? Let me see. Okay, hold on. I think oh wait. All right, guys, here we go. Killer whales and orca are one of my favorite animals in the world. You learned because of Free Willy, sperm whales from the movie Moby Dick. Just the movie Moby Dick? You didn't read the book? Herman Melville weeps. Great White Karate would be the Great White Karate. It is kind of funny. The white belt. Okay, here. Just a little bit. This is John on the movie, working with Kevin Hart, a filmmaker. Tim Story. Hayden and I wrote the original script for this project right before we pitched Cobra Kai almost a decade ago. Matt and Kevin did an awesome job modernizing it for today, as we said in the latest drafts. Counterbalance is excited to be producing alongside Davis Entertainment, Heartbeat, and Will Packer. The world needs more hilarious, fearless R-rated comedies. Can't wait for everyone to see what we're cooking up. I hope so. So one thing John, Josh, and Hayden do is like they take the debauchery part of it and etc. But it's I think it's like wrapped up in a little bit more of a, I hate to say like life lesson. It's not really what I'm going at is, but like you can go through the debauchery and kind of like come out better for it, or like a learned man, if that makes any sense. Um, the debauchery is not a hindrance. Um, Now we can argue the morality of that because there are some people who would disagree, but I think this is their own um, views, and maybe their own experience is probably at least somewhat informed by their own experience. um, that they can do that. So that's the way I suspect this comedy is going to go. Um, you know, 72 crazy hours in Florida, but maybe they can all come out better for it. And it doesn't ruin your life, but maybe in the end it makes you a little stronger. Um, that seems to be John, Josh, and Hayden's direction, is what I would think. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, you can go on ships and stuff, and you'll see whales, Scott. Like, um, I think I've seen dolphins. Did I see whales? I know I saw dolphins, but we'll see. We're gonna need a bigger dojo. Yes, you are. Knew Terry Silver was sick in Cobra Kai. I just knew he's sick. He had a tumor. Yeah, definitely. It was something they had there. They went with it. Absolutely love to see a spinoff with Johnny being a father to his beloved daughter when she's a teenager or in primary school. Not middle school, huh? Like primary, okay. Teenager, okay. Middle school, nope, nope, nope. I don't want to see no girls in middle school. Nope, nope. um, yeah. All right. Um, Miguel, Robbie, and especially Tori had great moments, but not Sam. Feel kind of bad for her as she remembers a girl who was just there, but she seemed to handle it well. Um, hmm. So you're gonna say Sam didn't have great moments. And well, how do you define great moments? Like in fighting? Okay. Um, I think Sam had some good moments. Early in her early seasons, she defended herself in these fights against Tori. Those were big for her. Um, a lot of people love her season 3 stuff. Um, all the PTSD, etc. I think some of the best Sam stuff is like when she goes to Tori's house in season 5. Um, Sam goes to um, and then Sam and Tori together in season 6, episode 3 is probably one of the better ones of the series. Definitely, maybe in some respects, the climax of their story arc was there in episode 3. That was definitely a really good one. Um, So I think she had wins in fights. She had emotional story points. Um, good moments with Daniel. So I don't necessarily agree with that. Still on your whales, guys. Guys, this is a podcast about whales. If I had known, I would have put whales on the thumbnail. Maybe the context, since the Sakai Takai is a global tournament, which the world saw and televised, they wouldn't see much of her. But I'm not talking about of us as the audience. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean like Sam didn't have a great moment in the Sakai Takai? Well, yeah, a couple moments fighting for Miyagi Do, but nothing huge. Do you think Johnny would teach his daughter karate? Would he not? Would she be able to not learn karate if you were growing up with Johnny? Like I don't see how Laura, his daughter, doesn't learn karate. They should make a Cobra Kai movie. Yeah, T Flex Champ. Someone was talking about that. I think just before you came in. Um, I think like Cobra Kai as we saw it, especially Johnny's story coming back with Daniel, Johnny and Daniel together. Um, I feel like that part of the story is done. Like there could be other spin-offs, looks at other characters. Johnny and Daniel can be characters in someone else's story, but I don't think like they're the main story anyway. Tori and Sam was handled far better than Miguel and Robbie in terms of rivalry resolution. Um, on some level, although I think Miguel and Robbie in season 5, episode 5, that was a really good episode too. One of the better ones in season 5. People liked that. Um, it's just maybe it's been a couple years. They're like, wait, what happened? You're like, yeah, but I think they were both good in different ways. It was resolved differently for different characters, which is good. Didn't see any Australians. Well, they're all criminals and thieves. Uh Foolishness question, of course. Johnny gonna teach his daughter. Yeah. Yeah. Of course Johnny's gonna teach his daughter. You think Silver in Universe has worked with other billionaires like Zuckerberg or Bill Gates? Um, he may have come across them, but here's the thing: those guys and Musk work in like tech, and Silver's like billionaire was like in energy and completely different industries, right? Like Silver was like in energy and such. So they weren't like in the same circles, despite being rich. They were in the billionaire circle, but like their business was completely different. Like how you saw Tori has fans calling her Tooth Fairy as well as Robbie, who's receiving cheers and Miguel winning the tournament. Don't think Sam. Well, that is true, but I don't think Sam is bothered by that. Sam wasn't looking for fame and glory. The kids and the adults would be interested in doing a Cobra Kai movie, especially Will and Ralph. I do believe they would return. Hey, if Sony and Netflix or whoever put up the money, yeah, they'll do it. And they'll write a story. You pay people enough money, they'll do it. But they're going to want a lot of money. So you got to decide, what are you doing? Are you sure Johnny would be Laura's main teacher and not Miguel or Robbie in the sequel series? Okay, that's an interesting question. Um, I think mostly yes. Sort of the way Daniel was Sam's main teacher. It's not that Laura wouldn't learn from Miguel or Robbie. She probably would. You know, they're her brothers. So yeah. But I think she would still mostly learn from Johnny. Do a spinoff with Miguel, Tori, and Robbie. Who do you think will get married first? Probably Tori and Robbie. Like, if I had a daughter or son, I would teach him bodybuilding and fitness. Absolutely. Of course you would. Silver season 4 before he got in his head was the best sensei. Probably true. You are an apology for bringing up the whale story. I just love whales, and that's all. And I love that episode. Fair enough. You were stuck on the whale a lot, but that's okay. Johnny's not making it to his 70s without liver issues and arthritis. Johnny's got tough, man. He's got the Cobra filtering system, you know. How protective Miguel Robbie could be their little sister and boys and everything. And having boyfriends look out. Yeah. Yeah, they'll be protective. If they're around, you know, sometimes older brothers at that age gap, they'll be on with their life. Yeah. So there's Miguel and Robbie for sure. Okay, guys. I think we had a good chat. Um, I'm almost done with wedding stuff. The main stuff. The stuff I have to do ahead of time. So I'll get it done soon. Um, of the teen couples, I would bet that Dimitri what? 603, 612 were very good. You agree? Directed by Ralph and Billy, both focusing on Sam and Tori's relationships, as well as 612 focusing on more relationships. Well, 612 was a lot about Johnny and Johnny getting married and all that. 603, well, 603 had the Tori Sam stuff. It had the Miyagi mystery box, and then it had like Quan and Kreese and everything in Korea. The next project will be a Miyagi prequel. Yes, I still think that's what's on deck. Feel horrible for Robbie fans. Well, Robbie had a happy ending, so they didn't. You can't feel too bad for him. They had a happy ending. We're peaking here. Yeah, guys, Robbie had a happy ending. 612. Well, 612, yeah, actually, now that I'm looking back on it, Derek, it also had Chosen. It was like Chosen getting over Kumiko, but that's okay. Having a little fun with Moon's mom. Good stuff. It's more how he's treated throughout Barcelona. Well, that's true. And that's kind of unfortunate. He didn't have the best Sekai Taikai. We have to say that. Hawk fans had it way worse. Hawk did nothing. Hawk had some moments. Hawk had some moments in the thing, in the Sekai Taikai. Just some of it was cut short by Dimitri, which was unfortunate. Watching Karate Kid and Copper Cargo with Robbie and Daniel had injured legs. The bike got injured on the exact same leg. How? I don't know, Scott Walker. I don't know. Sometimes, Scott, you say things and I'm really not sure what the heck you're talking about. I don't always know what's going on inside your head. That's okay. I love you just the same. I appreciate everyone for coming here. I appreciate you all. I think I want to keep Watch Party going and keep it special and expand. There's more to come. So I'm going to take off, everyone. Love you. Videos coming. See you at the next watch party. Bye-bye.